Round three, race three of the weekend for Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica 2025. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Circuito in Valencia as we get ready for the third race of the weekend. We've had two sprint races, and now we are getting ready for the endurance race at this circuit, which is just a fraction over 4 kilometers around. That's about 2.489 miles, 14 turns, 9 to the left and 5 to the right, running unusually in an anti-clockwise direction. A main straight of about 876 meters, giving the drivers plenty of opportunity to pick up a side draft, to pick up a slipstream and make a move into turn one. Great overtaking. As we look at the car that's currently in P2 on the grid, that is the number 22 car that has Borja Garcia at the wheel, along with Alejandro Barambio. Those are the two drivers that are going to be sharing the wheel of the number 22 car. It is Manuel Alves, though, who starts on pole position for this, the third endurance race of the season in this reformatted Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica for 2025. Something a bit different to what we've seen already this weekend. The first two races were just 20 minutes plus one lap in duration. This is something altogether different. It is a 50-minute race involving a mandatory pit stop. There will be a pit window that will open 20 minutes into the race. It will remain open for 10 minutes, and during that 10-minute window, every car will be required to come into the pits for a mandatory stop. Now, where there are two drivers registered with the cars, and there are several cars on the grid that do have two drivers registered, there will need to be a driver change. For the drivers that are solo, entered as solo drivers, new for this weekend, the driver will need to exit the car and will need to circle the car and then re-enter the car, get back into the driver's seat, really just to level it up a bit compared to those that have got two drivers driving the car. Just to add to it, there is a minimum pit stop time, so this is not a performance pit stop. There will be no refueling, no tyre changes, nothing like that. It is a minimum pit stop time from the pit entry line to the pit exit line of 120 seconds. So the drivers will need to get to the pit entry line, hit the speed limit button, that will take them to 60 kilometers an hour, get to their pit box, perform either the driver change or getting out of the car, circling the car and getting back in, and then get back out to the pit exit line. And they'll want to hit the exit line at 120 seconds. They don't want to get there early. If they go below the minimum pit stop time, there will be a penalty incoming, but obviously they don't want to get there late because every valuable tenth of a second is spaced out on the track. And as if that wasn't enough, we also have success handicap as well. So some of the drivers are going to need to come in for a longer stop, and that relates to the result from the race last time out at Monteblanca. Let's have a quick look at the grid first, though. Manuel Alves starting on pole position with Alejandro Barambio alongside Jose Barros, and Andre Fernandez are next, and then Jorge Ramirez, Asia Telleria on row 3. Row 4, Daniel Garcia and Henk van Zurst. And on row 5, Francisca Queros has Brie Marita for company. And then it's Nuno Inocencio with Pablo Hernandez alongside on row 6. On row 7, Alexandra Fonseca and Maria Sanchez. And then bringing up the rear, Joao Macedo. A lot of the cars have two drivers, as I've already said, sharing the driving duties. So we'll try and keep across using the speed of which car. That's easier said than done, isn't it? I was going to say about the success handicap. So, drivers who won last time out in each category, last time out when we were on Blanco, will have an additional 10 seconds they'll be in at the pit during the pit stop. Those that came second will have an additional 5 seconds of minimum pit stop time, and those that came third will have an additional 3 seconds added on to that minimum pit stop time. It means that there's a Iberica. They will need to be stationary for that additional 10 seconds on account of the win last time out of Monte Blanco. And also, Pablo Hernandez, who won in the category 1, will also have that additional 10 seconds. Also, drivers with an additional 5 seconds at Nuno Valência and also Manuel Alves. So they will have additional 5 seconds added on. Additional 3 seconds will be awarded to Maria Sanchez and Chloe Grant, and also to Daniel Garcia on a counter coming third in category last time out. I hope that makes sense. Answers on a postcard, please. We have 2 categories racing here. We have category 1 drivers who are in the Porsche 911. That is the 991.1 and 991.2 spec. We have category 2, those are drivers with the Porsche 911 Type 992. There's also drivers running for Pro-Am, gentlemen drivers, Ladies Cup, and also Trophy. So lots to be fighting for as the cars are currently out on their formation lap, generating heat into the tyres and into the brakes. From the start-finish line is a run of about 650 metres into towards one. This is going to be a rolling start, unlike the previous 2 races, which were a clutch start. So the run into turn 1, perhaps a little less critical in that the cars will be moving, so they don't need to get out of the blocks, but they will still need to be in a side-by-side formation, and they will need to pass the start-finish line in a manner that the approval of the race director, and that is quite critical. The race start needs to be even, it needs to be fair. The cars will be side by side in a few moments as they head towards the start-finish line, and we will be getting ready for 50 minutes plus racing. Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica style. I hope you're going to be entertained. Manuel Alves has taken a bit of beating this weekend, as has Dylan Pereira. He, along with Andre Fernandez, are in the number 17 car that is down in row 2, the green car. They'll want to get a good launch. We're waiting for the safety car to duck off into the pit lane, and we are waiting to go. There goes the safety car. Now, all eyes are on the light. Are you ready for this? We're approaching the halfway point of the season. Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. Race 3 of the weekend is go! And the cars spanning out along the pit straight into that tight turn 1. Great start from Manuel Alves. Not a great start from Andre Fernandez, getting swallowed up by the back. He goes very wide in turn 1, maybe picking a bit of ground up. The rest of the cars all jostling for position further back. I think everybody's made it around that tyre stack there, looming towards the drivers, but the car leading the way at the moment. Manuel Alves, he's a solo pilot in second place. A good start for Henk van Soest and Felipe Nascimento. Right, we've got a yellow flag at turns 4 and 5, so clearly someone's had a moment. So we will see who that is. At and 5, the right-hander, a yellow flag is showing. I've no indication as to why at the moment. Now we do have indication, and it is the number 44 car, Nuno Inocencio. So that is a real disaster for him. He was the 2023 991.1 AM champion, and he is stranded at the side of the track. Now, are we going to need some kind of caution to get him moved? Well, it all depends on whether he can get the car rolling. A bit of help from the marshals and the Monteros Competición car in the gentleman driver carrying, but any hope of a podium today perhaps slipping out the window, certainly in the overall race in category 1. In the overall race, Manuel Alves is leading the way from Jose Barros and Nuno Batista. That is the car that is running in the second place, and now Andre Fernandez coming under pressure in that place. So Fernandez has the number 22 car, having a little look to the inside. Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia are sharing the duties in that car. I believe that is Alejandro Barambio that's driving that. No quote me on that, but he's made a move past Fernandez into that position. So Fernandez has been relegated down a position. The Barambio Borja car in 22 up into 4th place. and Andre Fernandez shuffled down the order. So we've had a couple of minutes of the race. We've got everything rolling now. So the yellow's been lifted. We saw that Nuno Inocencio is rolling and going. So no issues there, albeit that he's at the very back of the pack. So time to take stock. Where are we? Manuel Alves is leading the way. As when he started from the front of the grid, has led every lap. And when he started, and there's always get the pressure on the leaders. So going to be really interesting to see. He will need to build as big a gap as possible, and he will be aware that one of his main challengers, the number 17 car, Andre Fernandez and Dylan Pereira, will be stationary in the pits for 5 seconds longer than him once the pit sequence is done. But he will also be aware that the number 77 car that is in second place will be stationary in the pits for 5 seconds less than him. So number 77 car with Jose Barros just needs to stay within reach of the leader and could well be in the lead once the pit stop sequence is done. We've got plenty of time to go yet before that happens, though. The 20th minute of the race, and when the clock strikes 30 to go, that is when the pit window will open, and the teams will be looking at the strategy. They'll be trying to decide when is a good time to bring the car into the pits, when they can perhaps get it out onto a bit of open track, maybe do an undercut. They'll also want to maximise potentially the quickest driver, the driver that is perceived the quicker of the pairing. They'll want to maximise that in the instances where there are 2 drivers sharing at the wheel. So at the moment, Manuel Alves leading the way in Category 2. In Category 1, Rui Morita doing what he seems to do best, and that is leading the way, looking for his 5th win in Category 1 this season. He is, of course, the 24 and 23 Gentleman Driver Champion, and will be looking to defend that title as well, doing all the right things to go about that. So race leader at the moment, Manuel Alves, has opened up a gap over Barros and Batista of 2.154 seconds. So the gap is opening up. Then we have Jorge Ramirez, who spent a lot of time in trouble with the stewards this morning. Got a drive-through penalty as a result of a jump start. So we'll be looking to avoid those kind of dramas here. But behind is the car that is closing in, the Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia car in the number 22 that is closing in on that 3rd place. So it was 0.6 of a second last time they crossed the start-finish line. You can already see that 0.670, to be precise, is closing down with every corner. So soon, Jorge Ramirez is going to be under threat in that 3rd place. Both the 22 car and the number 88 car do not have any additional time in the pit stop, so they will be doing the shortest of all the pit stops. So this could potentially be a battle for what will be the net race lead once the pit sequence is done and dusted. So a lot of strategy coming into play here by the teams and by the drivers. The weather here, the temperatures are very, very hot. It is boiling hot. I was told last night it was due to be cooler today. Well, I can tell you categorically it is not. It is very warm. That is significant because, firstly, the drivers need to stay focused, need to stay razor sharp, but also tyre wear will be an issue here. Take too much out of those tyres early on in the race, you're going to end up with not a lot of grip left when we get into the latter stages of the race. And for those that are sharing the driving duties, whatever state the car and the tyres are in, once they jump into the seat of that Porsche, they're going to have to handle that and bring those tyres and that car home. They inherit whatever traumas the driver before them has put into those tyres and into the car. So if it's a considerate teammate, they'll hand the car over to their fellow driver, hopefully with a bit of grip left, with some brakes and with the car in one piece. But we've got 42 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. It is a long old race And if you're used to watching Porsche Sprint Challenge racing or Porsche Carrera Cup racing, you'll know this is as long as it gets. It's a test for the drivers, it's a test for the teams, and it's a test for the cars as we can watch that third place battle. It's Jorge Ramirez in the number 88 car. Behind him is the number 22 car. Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia are the two drivers at the wheel of that car. I believe it's Barambio at the wheel, but don't quote me on that. Borja Garcia may well be at the wheel. We don't have that information in our commentary position at the moment, but what we do know is it is looking very rapid in fourth place and it's closing in on that third place. The gap last time around was down to just 8/10 of a second point, 8.59. So actually, Jorge has responded a little, but now you can see out onto the pit straight in towards turn one, reaching speeds of getting on for 250 kilometers an hour into sixth gear, then heavy braking down into fourth gear, 160 kilometers an hour around that turn one. So we're going to have a look at a replay now of the start. It was very late that the safety car was in. And you could see, actually, some of the cars were a little bit tardy out of the blocks. I think the number 15 car was a little bit slow getting away. And then they all went. I don't think there are any issues that are being flagged up by race control. But ever the opportunists, these drivers going 3, maybe even 4 abreast along the pit straight, heading into turn one. Great opportunity to pick up places on that opening corner, but a great opportunity to throw it all away and end up in a gravel trap or with damage. I'm pleased to say that everybody has made it, apart from Nuno Inocentio, who is now into the pit. So I think we've seen the last of the number 44 car for this weekend. So a real shame. Nuno Inocentio, who has scored very well, and in the garages, the teams will be looking on, but sadly, Nuno's team will not have any additional work to do. This sole 991.2 that is in this race retired and back into the garage. Apart from that, everybody else is still out on track, still pushing forwards. We got 10.25 minutes until the pit window opens. So it's very much holding pattern at the moment. Look after the car, look after the tyres, and make sure you bring it home. The best time on the track, well, no surprises there. Our race leader, his best time on lap 3 was a 1:36.830 from Manuel Alves. So very much controlling the pace at the front. Will be very much in the rhythm once the pit sequence is done and dusted. So we'll fancy his opportunities. Has not finished less than third place at any point this season. Manuel Alves for Lob Motorsport, really showing his intent. He got a first and 2 seconds at the season open at Portimao. He got a first, a third, and a second at Monte Blanco last time out. He's had a first and a second this weekend. So has not finished off the podium at any point this season. He is the defending champion in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, the defending Pro-Am champion as well. And he is proving why he is the champion. I spoke to him earlier. I said, can you take the fight to Dylan Pereira and Andre Fernandez? Pereira, the most experienced driver in the field. And he's like, I think I can. And with that 5-second advantage in the pit stops, he will be in a good position to do that, which is why he's trying to build up as big a gap as possible at the moment back to the number 17 car, which is in 5th place. At the moment, the gap from the leader down to 5th place is 11.3 seconds. So Manuel Alves, if the pit window happened now, would still potentially be in front distance. Of course, we are not discounting the cars around. Jose Barros, Nuno Batista, very much in the hunt as well. The number 77 car, remember, has no penalty when it comes to the pit stop. So if the pit sequence came and went now, it would be the 77 car that would be in the lead and would take over from Manuel Alves. So we continue out on track. Alves leading the way. Jose Barros, Nuno Batista in second. Jorge Ramirez, a solo driver, in third. Then Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia in fourth, ahead of Andre Fernandez. Dylan Pereira in 5th place. 6th place, the car that was rebuilt overnight. Asia Telleria and Sasha Hebron. I think that is Asia Telleria that is at the wheel of the number 15 car at the moment. In 7th place, the number 3 car, Joao Macedo, at the wheel of that. And Hank Van Zurst and Felipe Nascimento in the number 41 car in 8th place. And then it is our leading Category 1 car, Rui Morita, in 9th overall in the number 33 car. A little over 7 minutes from the pit window opening, and then it's time for the strategy to come in. We look at the 77 car, which will be the net leader if the pit window were to happen now. But we still have time to go because Jose Barros, Nuno Batista are 4.815 seconds back from the race leader, Manuel Alves. So with that 5-second advantage, we jump into the lead if the pit window were to happen now, but they cross the line, and now with the screens refreshed, that gap has opened up to 5.768. So now suddenly advantage Manuel Alves, because were to happen right now and things remained as they were, Alves would continue in the lead of this race. Jorge Ramirez very much in touch still, 2.5 seconds back from Jose Barros and Nuno Batista. Alves in control. We're looking at the 22 car in 4th place. Alejandro Barambre Pereira, I believe, is at the wheel, also sharing it with Borja Garcia. Keeping the leaders in sight. This is the long game. Looking after the tyres, and there's a car onto the gravel. It looks like a puncture on the left rear. The number 3 car of Joao Macedo into the gravel. Now that's going to bring out a yellow flag at turn 5. If this can go nowhere, this will turn the race on its head. I think we may well get a safety car. This will be significant because that big gap of 5.7 seconds that Manuel Alves has built up will reduce to nothing. I've got one eye on the screen. Will we get a safety car? Yes, I believe we've got a safety car on standby. If this goes to safety car, yes, it does. Safety car is out. This changes the whole dynamic of the race because all of those gaps that have been built up will be reduced to nothing. It means that Manuel Alves, having built up that gap of well over 5 seconds from 2nd place, Jose Barros and Nuno Batista, that gap will be gone. And when the pit window sequence happens, then suddenly we will have a very different picture. Let's have a look at a replay here to see what happened in the number 3 car. And it's not a puncture, it is a departure. So, Joao Macedo, seeing his left rear wheel disappearing off past him, so the wheel coming off the number 3 car, and Monteros Competitions will be looking at that and will be very concerned about that. The wheel shearing off, disappearing off into the gravel trap, taking the number 3 out of the car, and it's changed the dynamic of this race. So the safety car has picked up the number 22 car, so it'll wait, I believe, for the leader to catch up in a bit. At the moment, Charity is getting the cars slowed down as the other drivers now get ready for what will be taking over from the pit sequence. So we're going to get the number 3 car towed to safety. The safety car will try and pick up the leader in a few moments, the number 1 car. At the moment, the safety car will need to wave by the 22 car and pick up the race leader. They'll get the number 3 car towed to safety, but this is so significant. I will remind you once again, cars number 1, number 17, number 35, 36, car 75 and car 82 all have extended pit stops as a result of the success handicap, as a result of finishing on the podium last time out at Monte Blanco. The longest of which, good job done by those marshals as the safety car now waves past the other cars and picks up the leaders. The longest will be Andre Fernandez and Dylan Pereira, a 10-second extension on their pit stops, and Pablo Hernandez in 82. They will have a pit sequence which will have 10 seconds of success time added and this safety car is really going to hurt them. We're still 2.5 minutes from the pit window opening. The pit sequence cannot start until the safety car is in, so it may be the pit window gets delayed while the cars come round to join the queue, because we cannot open the pit window behind the safety car. That would be fairly unfair for drivers. Although those that have just lost out on the big gaps that they'd built up would probably argue to the contrary. So, Dylan Pereira there, looking at the screen, and you get a sense he's suited and booted that as soon as the pit window opens, Andre Fernandez is going to be in and is going to hand the car over to Dylan Pereira. No disrespect to Andre Fernandez, but Dylan is a vastly more experienced pilot and potentially the quicker of the two. And they'll want to get him behind the wheel of the number 17 AFB Motorsport Porsche as quickly as possible, because he is going to have his work cut out with the field all running nose to tail behind the safety car, which is what is going to be happening in a few moments. There is your race leader, Manuel Alves, the 77 car, now on his back bumper. Jorge Ramirez there as well. Safety car still out. I have no indication of when the safety car may come in, but when it does, it's going to get very busy in the pit lane. So no indication at the moment of when the safety car might come in. But I would expect race control to delay opening the pit window until the safety car is off the track. We are 50 seconds away from the pit window opening. This is going to turn the race on its head. Manuel Alves, I would suggest, may want to stay out as late in the window as possible. He's got a clear track in front of him, so he has no reason to come in early for his stop. He is a solo driver, so all he'll be doing is coming in, getting out the car, the 60 of the car, getting back in and rejoining the track. So he'll want to, right, here we go, confirmation that the pit window has been postponed. Figured that might be the case. I don't have the exact time of when the pit window will be, but when that is, I am sure that the number 17 car will be in fairly rapidly. And I think that Manuel Alves will stay out till the last minute. That's my prediction. I have been wrong many times in the past, and I stand to be corrected anytime soon. But at the moment, it's all to play for here. We're approaching the halfway point of this race. Fascinating race. First two of the weekend were all about flat out, all the way, giving it full beans. Now it's all about strategy. It's all about saving the car, choosing when to come in when the pit window opens. Pereira waits. Wait will have to be a little bit longer because the pit window is delayed, and I have no indication when that might be. At the moment, it's Manuel Alves from Jose Barros and Nuno Batista. Then Jorge Ramirez. That's your 1, 2, 3 overall. Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia in fourth place ahead of Andre Fernandez and Dylan Pereira. Then Asia Telleria and Sasha Hebrard. Then Hank Van Zurst and Felipe Nascimento. Then our leading Category 1 car, Rui Morita. Then another of the Category 2 cars, Daniel Garcia and Francisca Queiroz, who's leading in the ladies' race as well. And then second in Category 1, Pablo Hernandez in 11th overall, ahead of Maria Sanchez and Chloe Grant. So Chloe and Maria into a podium paying position. Right, that's the number 11 car coming in. Alexandra Fonseca and Andre Marquez. So they were in 13th place. I don't know whether they've got a problem. I can only assume they have, because the pit window is not open yet, that we have been informed of, and we're certainly behind the safety car. So clearly the number 11 car peeling off into the pit lane with a problem, or maybe not, rejoining the track. And there may have been a communication issue there. It may have been that they were coming in for what would have been a mandatory stop and not having twigged that actually they're not able to at this time. That'll be an interesting question to ask once this race is done. We've got 27 3/4 minutes. Oh, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? At the moment, safety car is out. I think the number 3 car should be clear. Looking at my driver tracker, and the 36 car, Maria Sanchez and Chloe Grant, is being shown as a long way back. Safety car is in on this lap. So safety car will be coming in. That is the 36 car. They've been struggling with that all weekend. And it's a real shame because Maria Sanchez, Chloe Grant, really, really rapid pilots, both running in the AM category for Monteros Competiciones. But at the moment, they are struggling with braking on that car. They've had no ABS. And all the cars around them have a wide-eyed expectation from the driver there. And that says it all, really, doesn't it? As we get ready for the driver changes to come up. But yeah, the 36 car has been struggling with mechanical woes and had some grip issues as well. No ABS on that car. Everybody else has ABS. And those in Category 2 also have traction control, which accounts for the difference in lap time between Category 1 and Category 2. Safety car lights are off. It's now going to be the job of Manuel Alves to back the field up. He will become the de facto safety car. It'll be his decision when to go. The only rule is he must not pass the safety car. So the safety car will peel off into the pit lane. Manuel Alves will decide when to go. The rest of the field cannot overtake until they get to the start-finish line. Alves will want to catch the number 77 car behind, napping. 77 car to think that he's on the brakes when in fact he's on the accelerator and trying to open up a gap. He has got a gargantuan task ahead of him as he hits the accelerator out of turn 14. He needs to build up at least a 5-second gap from the number 17 car that is currently running in 5th place. Out along the start-finish line they come, but Jose Barros, Nuno Batista, Jorge Ramirez are all very much in the race for the win. Alejandro Barambio, also Borja Garcia, very much in the running for the win of this race. 25 minutes and 20 seconds plus 1 lap remaining. Jorge Ramirez looking racy in 3rd place, looking to challenge for position. I have no indication when the pit window might be opening, but at the moment, 1, 2, 3, running nose to tail. Out towards turn 4 they come into 3rd gear, 105 kilometers an hour. Then short squirt of power towards turn 5, and then round to turn 6 they will come. At the moment, Manuel Alves very much in control, but Jose Barros, Nuno Batista keeping the pressure on. Change on the timing screen. It means that the driver's changes may start now. The pit window is open. So 24 minutes and a half. I think there was about that when it came on. So 10 minutes for all cars to come into the pits and make their mandatory stop. And in the case of the two, make a driver change. In the case of the single drivers, to exit the car. There is Dylan Pereira. I said that he would be eager and ready to go. There is Felipe Nascimento, I believe that is, who will be taken over from Hank van Zurst in the number 41 car. So I think we're going to see cars peeling off into the pit lane any second now. This is where the race is going to change. So into the pits comes. So I thought that Manuel Alves was out late into the pit window. What do I know? He's going to get it out of the way early. So number 1 coming in. No surprises that number 17 is coming in as well to the pits for the mandatory stop. Also in Alejandro Barambio, a Borja Garcia car, the number 22 car, also into the pits for the stop. So the strategy now is starting to kick in. Manuel Alves clearly wants to get that pit stop done and dusted, get out onto the track as quickly as he can. But of course, there is the minimum pit stop time. This will feel like an eternity for Manuel Alves because the 22 car of Barambio and Garcia will be stationary for 5 seconds less. Remember, they must not get to the pit exit too early. I saw the number 11 car as well. Alexandra Fonseca, Andre Marquez in the background coming in as well. So a few of the cars coming in at the moment. 17, also 33. Rui Morita coming in as well, significant from the lead in Category 1. Daniel Garcia is in car 75. Number 36 is in. Maria Sanchez over to Chloe Grant. Also in number 11 that we've seen. We've also lost Nuno Incentio already because of that incident early on. So, limits to what can be done to the cars. A couple of mechanics are allowed to just work on the car. They can check tyre pressures. They cannot change tyres. They cannot refuel. Whatever tyres are on the car have got to go the distance. At the moment, your new race leader is car 77, Jose Barros, Nuno Batista. You know they will be going like the clappers to open up as big a gap as possible, wafting the door to let in some air. That is a great job being done by them. Maria Sanchez and Chloe Grant doing some of that in our commentary position. Right, out they come. So this is going to be critical. Getting to the line before the clock, not before the clock strikes zero, but not too long afterwards as well. So cars merging from the pits to rejoin. So we've got some of the cars that have pitted, some that have not pitted. And they're going to be mixing it up with the rest of the cars on the track at the moment. I have no notifications of minimum pit stop times of who may or may not have gone under them. 14, 23 and 30 is when the window is going to close. That's the 41 car. Henk van Soest, Felipe Nascimento doing the driving duties on that. At the moment, we've still got cars that have not been in. Jose Barros, Nuno Bautista, Jorge Ramirez, Asia Telleria, Sasha Hebrard out on track at the moment. And they have not been in for their stop yet. One update on what is going on. So Henk van Soest, Felipe Nascimento, the next ones that have come in. So we've still got a handful of cars yet to come in for their stop. Here comes some more now. That is the 77 car coming out of the lead. Also the 88 car, Jorge Ramirez. So Barros Batista and Jorge Ramirez also coming into the pits. I'm looking to see the 82 car. I don't think has been in yet. Pablo Hernandez. Looking to see who else has not been in. The number 3 car is clearly going nowhere. So we're getting to the stage. Has 35 been in? That is the question. Yes, so Francesca Queiroz now into the pits as well. So I think we're getting to the stage where everyone who needs to pit, Pablo Hernandez, I think that everybody should have been in now. The number 15 also in, Asia Telleria and Sasha Hebrard. So I think I've caught everybody there. Everybody has or indeed is pitting. At the moment, I'm looking to see who our net race leader is. And it's the 22 car out on track with Barambio and Garcia that is leading the way, currently up at the moment at turn 7. In second place, it'll be Manuel Alves. In third place, Andre Fernandez and Dylan Pereira. But of course, cars that are in the pits are going to be filing out into all of this at the moment. So, at the moment, car 22, Barambio Garcia, around at turn 11, heading towards turn 12 on this 14-turn circuit. Into turn 12 at the moment for car 22, into the Adrian Campos turn 13, into turn 14 at the moment comes car 22, Pereira and Garcia. We're keeping an eye on when these cars are going to be moving. Right, 22 is out onto the pit straight. Still, these cars are stationary. Across the start-finish line, it's going to come car 22 at the moment. Now, cars start to move in the pit lane. How are they going to come out compared to our leader? Remember, our race leader, car 22, has the momentum. 77 is out of the pit lane. Barros and Batista in front, but they're not up to speed at the moment. It's 22 that is going to take the lead of the race and keep it. Car 77 into second place at the moment. Car 88, Jorge Ramirez into third. Manuel Alves into fourth. So it's a fifth place for car 17. Dylan Pereira with all the work to do. But remember, the cars that have come out of the pits have been stationary for 2 minutes. So at least 2 minutes, so their tyres will have cooled down. They need to get back up to speed. The drivers need to get into the rhythm. At the moment, though, Our race leader is 22, Alejandro Barambio. Borja Garcia leading the way. So the 22 car will be the lead car after the pit stop sequence. The number 77 car that you're seeing there, Jose Barros, at the moment further back. We're going to wait for them to cross the timing line, get the official confirmation. But Barros is second, and a big moment there. The pressure starting to show, but picking it up. A wild moment across the curbs, and that allows the number 1 car, Alves, to pounce and jump through as well. A wild moment for the 77 car. That has been driven by Barros and Batista. Out across the line we come now with the confirmation. The race leader is car 22, Alejandro Barambia. Borja Garcia in second. Jorge Ramirez in third. Manuel Alves in fourth. And then Barros and Batista. Then Fernandez and Pereira, with Pereira at the wheel. So now it's time for everybody to throw caution to the wind. This is going to be 16.5 minutes of flat-out racing all the way to the flag. No more stops to be done. Our leading Category 1 car remains as Rui Morita in 8th place. There is our race leader. And let's have a little replay here of that wild moment. Just picking up a bit of curb, gathers it all up though. That is what is known in the trade as a code brown moment. He did gather it up though, he kept it all together. Good driving there in the Barros Batista car. Didn't lose it completely, didn't spin it, and carries on in an impressive 4th place. But gonna have to put now to make it back onto the podium. Let's see what the gaps are. So the gap between Barambio, Garcia and Ramirez, well, last time around was 5.2 seconds. That was the gap from 1st to 2nd place. Remember, some of these cars had that longer pit stop. The gap from Manuel Alves, though, ahead to Ramirez is just 4.5 tenths. So Alves looking to pounce. He's going to be moving forwards on that 2nd place. Here they come, the 88 car and the number 1 car. This is the fight for 2nd place in this race. Jorge Ramirez in number 88, Manuel Alves in the number 1 car. They are solo drivers, so we know exactly who is racing in the seat of that car. At the moment, it's Barambio, Garcia. They are 5.7 ahead of them, so it's stretching their legs at the moment. In a Pereira in the number 17 car is 9.2 1 second, I beg your pardon, back from the car in front. Learn to read the timing screen. Nuno Batista and Jose Barros just ahead. So we'll be closing in less than 2 seconds back from the 4th place car. But this is the battle at the moment. 4 seconds going wide around the tyre stack. Will need to have backed out of it. Will need to show the race directors that he didn't gain an advantage coming out of that corner, going the wrong side of the marker tyres. Be carefully at that. And where Alves will have to back out of it, wind it all up again and try again. And you saw as he went wide how hard he is pushing. Now to the inside, it is the black and orange car versus the black and orange car running side by side. Alves has the quicker inside line out of the corner, but look in the background. Dylan Pereira has already dispatched the car in front. The number 77 car, Pereira, man on a mission, is closing in on this battle that you are witnessing, the battle for 2nd place. Pereira is up a position, having dispatched Barros and Nuno. And across the line we come once again. Let's see what the gaps are this time. 2.640 between 2nd and 4th. So Pereira closing in on Alves with every lap. What can he do? 13.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. We have a car that is leading in the shape of Barambio Garcia, but we have a field that is compressing in the background because Manuel Alves has now taken a chunk of time out of the lead. It is still 7.117 seconds. Jorge Ramirez, 0.620 back. And then Dylan Pereira in the green, number 17 car, closing in on all of them. What can he do? 13 minutes plus 1 lap remaining on this race 3 of the weekend, race 9 of the season. after this weekend. We are at the halfway point of this wonderful championship. Still, the 22 car making hay while the sun shines. Out in front, leading the way up towards turn 12 at the moment. That's a third gear corner, taking about 150 kilometers an hour, then on the power into the sweeping 13 and 14. Remember, the gap last time around when they crossed the line was 7.1. Manuel Alves has had a warning for track limits. We saw him going wide around the tyre stack, so a warning there. Right, what is the gap between Alves and the race leader? You can see Pereira closing in on Alves big time now. Across the line we come. The gap is up to 7.8 between first and second. So Alves struggling a little bit. We saw him with that wide line. Pereira has Jorge Ramirez in his sights. So first of the podium positions, the last, if you will, of the podium positions. The quickest lap, 1.5 seconds quicker than Jorge Ramirez. So that gap coming down with every corner. Pereira now will be filling the mirrors of Ramirez. Ramirez will be trying to play the mental game. He will know he has a championship driver in his mirrors. How much will he be humiliated? How much will he be distracted? Will Pereira wait his moment? He hasn't got time to sit behind the car 88. He'll want to get the number 88 car dispatched as quickly as possible. Jorge Ramirez will want to show his worth against the champion, Dylan Pereira. Pereira flashing the lights, letting him know he's there, taking a tighter line into the corner. Ramirez in the last of the podium positions, in third place. Pereira surely is going to make his jump now. He's not even going to wait until they get onto the pit straight. To the inside he goes. And through into third place. Next up will be Manuel Alves. I spoke to Manuel earlier this morning. He said that he learnt from watching Dylan Pereira, from following his every move. You can see Pereira absolutely hustling the car around the corner, sliding the number 17 machine. Alves said that he learned a lot following him. I said, can you beat him in a battle? He says, I am going to give it a try. And across the start-finish line they come. Now the truth will come out. Alves, can he stand the fight with Dylan Pereira? There was a quick look at Andre Fernandez there, looking fairly exhausted after that first stretch. We've still got 10 minutes and 10 seconds plus 1 lap remaining of this race. It is Barambio and Porsche who lead the way. 7.574 over this battle that you're looking at here. Manuel Alves holding on for all he's worth, drawing on everything that he's got. There's your race leader, the number 22 car. The gap, 7.5 seconds. That is a luxurious gap. Of course, a safety car now would change the whole dynamic of the race again. So the pilot of the 22 car will have everything crossed, and there are no cautions. There's no reason for the field to close up. He's got 7.5 seconds to break clear of that second place battle. Have another look here at Pereira to the inside of Jorge Ramirez. Ramirez not really putting up too much of a fight, thinking very much with his head and not with his right foot, knowing what are the battles to fight. You can so easily take too much out of the car, end up in a gravel trap, end up taking too much grip out of it by fighting a battle that you're not going to win. Better to just cut your losses and bring it home for a solid 7.688 is the gap between Manuel Alves and Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia. We can see confirmation of the handicaps that were applied. The 5 seconds to 88, 35 and 33. So I'm just looking at that and I have a feeling that might be going to be applied after the race has finished. So there may be some dramas to come at 88, 35 and 33. And that will be for potentially going below minimum pit stop times. I will need to get confirmation on that. So that is Jorge Ramirez in the 88 car. That would be Francesca Queiroz and that would be Iberica. So there may well be the penalties incoming. Getting my translation skills on here as best I can while this is ongoing, while we're looking at Dylan Pereira closing in still on Manuel Alves in that third place. 10 out of 10 to Manuel Alves, who is just holding off as best he can, doing a really good job, just holding on. So yes, a 5-second time penalty for a handicap breach. God bless Google Translate. To those drivers that I've already mentioned. So that is cars 88, 35 and 33 are going to have 5 seconds added on to their time once this race is done and dusted. And that is significant because 88 at the moment is running in 4th place, going below the minimum pit stop time. Jorge Ramirez in that 4th place. Also, the car that is leading the way in category 1, Rui Barita. That looked like the 36 car back into the pit lane. And that is Chloe Grant. So some issues there with the 36 car. It's such a shame. We wanted to see what they can do this weekend, but the machinery really has been working against them. And they've not been able to show their true colours. Showing his true colours now, Dylan Pereira challenging Manuel Alves. Alves, how much has he learned from following the master? He's holding that. Pereira, if he wants that position, is going to have to go the long way around. Manuel Alves, what a great defence from the pilot of the number 1 car, but finally the experience of Dylan Pereira is too much, and he's up into 2nd place. Dylan Pereira stealing that position away. Manuel Alves relegated down into 3rd, but it's a solid 3rd, particularly as the car behind it now has a 5-second time penalty applied as well. So at the moment, a very comfortable 3rd for Manuel Alves. It would be valuable points for him. The defending champion of Porsche Sprint Challenge, Iberica, just been passed by a former champion of Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, the top level of Porsche Cup racing. Dylan Pereira, now he sets about after the race leader, but the gap in all of that has grown to over 8 seconds. So now he's got 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Do something about that 8 seconds. That is going to be something of a tall order. The last lap by our race leader was a 1:37.086. The last lap by Pereira was 1:37.017, but of course he was overtaking cars at the time. I think his lap times are going to be quicker, but at the moment the 22 car flashing the lights to anybody who might be up ahead are coming through. Less than 5 minutes remaining. It's looking solid for the number 22 car. Alejandro Barambia and Borja Garcia in the 22 car. That marker very kindly moving out of the way. So the gap was 8.075 last time around. What can Pereira do? Our race leader at the moment. We're going to find out. 8.075 was the gap. Out across the line comes the number 22 car. We then wait for the number 17 to come. There's a back mark in 82 just in between them at the moment. Here's our race leader, being encouraged from the pit wall by the team. 7.740 is the gap. So it's coming down, but not quick enough. With less than 4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race, the gap not coming down quick enough. Now Dylan Pereira will want to be applying the pressure in any way that he can. This was Dylan Pereira challenging Manuel Alves for that position. Went to the outside and then he just powered on through, going the long way around. Alves doing all that he could. The team are looking on. Congratulations, AF and B Motorsport, as their man sails into that 2nd place. But is this as far as he is going to go? 3.25 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this, the 3rd endurance race in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. And our leader, number 22, jumped in front after the pit stop sequences. Has not looked back ever since. At the moment, in towards turn 12, once again, the right-hand corner, keeping it all together. A mistake now would hand the win Dylan Pereira. But Pereira now throwing caution to the wind, giving it everything. It was 7.74 seconds last time they crossed the line. Out onto the pit straight comes our race leader, but the 17 car is still heading in towards turn 14. And across the line, he will come once again. I don't think he's taken that much out. 2.5 minutes remaining. What is it going to be? It was 7.7 last time around. It's 7.4 this time around. So Dylan Pereira has taken 0.3 of a second out of the lead, but it is nowhere near enough to win this race. Could it be that second is as far as it's going to go? Dylan Pereira and Andre Fernandez. Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia in the 22 car. They won at the Portimao opener, the second sprint race. They finished consistently on the podium, but it was the 15th place in the last race that we had this morning. Apart from that, they've been podium finishers all season long. But now the top step of the podium beckons for the first time in an endurance race for the number 22 car. 1.5 minutes of timed racing. Once the clock strikes 0, it will then be the one extra lap that will be added to conclude what has been an enthralling race in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, the endurance race. The gap not coming down quick enough. Race leader still well clear. It was 7.3 last time. It's 7.1 now. So only 0.3 of a second per lap. Nowhere near it. Pereira is giving it everything, throwing caution to the wind as he tries to close in. I'm looking at Rui Marita, who's leading the way in the Category 1, looking to see what the gap is. Remember, Marita has a 5-second time penalty to be applied as well. So Pablo Hernandez in second place in the Category 1 cars. I'm still waiting to see how far back Pablo Hernandez is in the number 82 car. Onto the final lap, it's saying here. So the clock has not struck 0. So it was my understanding there would be a plus of 1 lap, so that might not be the case. We've got final lap being displayed on the graph, but I do believe there may well be another lap to go after this. Whichever way, the 22 car is very much under control of this race at the moment. Marita is in control of Category 1 because he is some 12 seconds ahead of Pablo Hernandez. So that 5-second time penalty should not make any difference at all. The 22 car at the moment in towards turn 9 and in towards turn 10. And the final lap that you're seeing in the graphic is subject to confirmation because the clock has now struck 0. Normally it's whatever's left of that lap plus 1 more, but there is the second place car. The number 22 car though, at the moment, Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia out into turn 14. It will come out onto the pit straight and out across the line. Once again, flashing the lights. It is a checkered flag and it is a win, a first ever win in an endurance race for Alejandro Barambia and Borja Garcia. The celebrations have started already. Dylan Pereira, Andre Fernandez threw caution to the wind and tried to close in, but it was only going to be second place. Still a solid job. And Manuel Alves coming home in third place despite all the pressure that was thrown at him. A solid podium finish. So Manuel Alves continues his run of finishing on the podium in every race this season and gaining valuable points in the points championship as he looks to defend his title here in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. So on the wind down lap, that has been driven to perfection. Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia at the wheel. And there were those 5-second time penalties to be applied to the number 88 car, Jorge Ramirez. And I think that will mean that Ramirez will still retain the position because he was 5.5 of the number 15 car that was behind him. I believe that Rui Marita has still retained the lead in category 1. I'm looking at the 35, Francisco Queros, and I believe that she will retain 8th place. She was 12 seconds clear of Rui Marita, who also had that penalty. So all of this very much subject to confirmation, but here are your provisional results for what has been a fabulous race in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, the ninth race of the season, the third endurance race of the season, one where the pit stops came into play, and the pit stops made everything really on edge and made us all guessing who was going to come out on top. And eventually the answer was car 22, Alejandro and Borja Garcia. So I've just had a message on the timing screen that says, correction, handicaps okay. So with all the drama of the 5-second handicaps being applied, the 5-second penalties being applied, I don't know what that relates to, but according to what I can see on the timing screens, it wasn't going to change anything anyway. The 5-second time penalties that had been awarded, I don't think are going to change any of the overall positions, but everything is subject to confirmation. Our race directors and race stewards will have a look at all the angles, and any penalties that may or may not be applied will be published on the various social media challenges. And I don't think we have any doubts at all about the 1, 2, 3. It was Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia, who through the pit stop sequence were able to come out on top. So the cars into Parc Fermé conditions, where they will be inspected, make sure they're legal, and they're a big sound stage. We've had music going there all day, and a real party atmosphere here in the pits. You can hear the music already starting, as was the case in the previous race. There'll be a lot of silverware to hand out to the drivers. A climb from the car. Congratulations. First ever win in an endurance race for Alejandro Barambia and Borja Garcia, making up for a fairly traumatic race 2 today. Of course, they had second place in the first sprint race. And you can see there's a lot of emotion invested in this. They're not just tootling around on a Sunday afternoon, killing time. This is passion. This is racing. And some of these drivers very much working up the Porsche pyramid with challenge racing, Carrera Cup racing, and drivers that we see in Carrera Cup and Super Cup, and some even going on to become Porsche factory drivers. And Dylan Pereira, one such driver that we've seen coming through the ranks. So posing all the photos that will be across the social media channels over the next few days. And now we get ready for the podium ceremony. I said this morning after the sprint race, Dylan Pereira, that we see there on the right-hand side of your picture, was French. Well, he's actually from Luxembourg, but on the entry sheet, he's registered as French. A very rapid driver, a legendary driver, someone who has been such a welcome addition to the ranks of Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, very much coming in as coach to Andre Fernandez, teaching him an awful lot as well. Andre Fernandez, who comes from Portugal, but lives in the USA. Let's just have a look back at some of the highlights of the race while we're waiting for the podium. Slightly messy start, I think it's fair to say, but everybody got away. Jorge Ramirez making hay while the sun shined. Some hustling across the curbs, a wild moment there. And that win flashing before their eyes as the number 22 car and the number 77 car of Jose Barros, Nuno Batista. Tensions as the pilots looked on. And there, the lap of the car, even time for a thumbs up from Manuel Alves. He had to exit the seat, he had to run around the car and get back in it, to balance it up with those that have to do a driver change. But no amount of circling the car and exercise was going to stop the man who took over from Andre Fernandez, Dylan Pereira, coming through. But the team that called the pit sequence perfectly, the drivers that didn't put a foot wrong, Alejandro Barambio, Borja Garcia, a GT Corsa coming through to take the win. And a first ever win in the endurance race in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, to go with their sprint win, which was by Borja Garcia, and that was in the second sprint at Portimao back in April. So while we just wait for the drivers to come onto the podium, to let you know where we go from here, it has been a spectacular first 3 rounds. It's a 6-round season, so we are now at the halfway point of this 2025 season. We now head into the summer break, a nice long break for these drivers before we reconvene in Spain again on the 13th and 14th of September, where we gather at Navarra for the next round, round 4. Once again, it'll be 2 sprint races and an endurance race. Then round 5 will be on the 1st and 2nd of November. We're going to enjoy some Spanish autumn sunshine at Jerez. That will be spectacular, always good racing there. And then we head back to Portugal for the season closer, the 22nd to the 23rd of November at Estoril. That's where round 6 takes place. That will be the end of the season, and we will then be focusing towards 2026. And I know already plans are very much in hand for what will be an even better 2026. Some exciting plans incoming. Also, in the world of Porsche racing, the Porsche Carrera World Cup will be happening in Spain at Barcelona at the end of March. We're gathering together the 100 best Porsche drivers in the world, and they're going to be competing in heats, semi-finals, and a final to find the world champion in Porsche Carrera racing. And that'll be at the end of March next year. And that'll be one to keep an eye out for. That'll be very spectacular. And if you're in the Barcelona area, you may want to get along to that. And if you're a driver, you may well want to register for that. A real opportunity to shine against the best of the best in the world of Porsche racing. So we're still waiting at the moment, as has become customary, for some action on the podium. And I'm hoping we're going to bring you this before the broadcast finishes. Nothing's guaranteed in life. At the moment, just waiting for some action on the podium. So while we're waiting for that, let's have a look at some nice slow-mo shots from our excellent production team here in Valencia. See how crowded it was into that turn 1. the car that was hustling across the curbs. The drivers who push hardest and who dare, they are the ones who win. There, number 11 car of Alexandra Fonseca and Andre Marquez. Pablo Hernandez in the number 82. Good opportunity to compare Category 1 and Category 2 cars there. The Category 1's a little bit narrower and different air vents on the front. The Category 2, very streamlined, very aggressive looking. And put to good use by Manuel Alves for Lob Motorsport. One of a couple of black and orange cars on the grid. And some good slow motions. And the wide eyes saying it all. Reflecting the thoughts of all of us. And Francesca Queiroz in the Ladies' Cup. There was the car that was eventually across the line, getting it in the pit sequence. So I'm afraid we're not going to be able to bring you the podium for this race, so I do apologise for that, but there will be pictures on the social media. Do check out the Instagram, the other outlets. I do hope you've enjoyed a Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica here from Valencia. It's the halfway point of the season. The gloves are off because we're going to be back to do it all again in September. We'll see you in Navarra, the 13th and the 14th of September for round 4 of Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica 2025. And we'll see you then. See you later from Valencia. Bye-bye.